Born into perceiving the fragrance of imperial leather soap from the neighbor's bathroom, to strolling to nearby drink depots to redeem my crown win of Coca-Cola free drink, I grew to learn that the burden and weight of the boarding house tinker box represented the primal weight of my manly instincts, wisdom, and abilities, and was rested solely upon my persona to steer for the first time in my life, after the happy automated primary school days. I surely locked mine with the impregnable Toka's padlock just to be sure I had myself intact. Life was seen through the national monochrome televisions that placed it upon our manual transmission to choose the frequency that has our best moments locked in. This created consciousness to the memorization of all stations' particular dial in hitherto, IQs were awake. You were in charge of life literally as well as proportional to the quality of your family background. However, none was ever in abject lack on all fronts holistically. No one was far off the technological connection, as it was very close to average learning as possible. Education was free and knowledge was power. The oldest woman could vulcanize her bicycle's tire whilst steering it afterwards across distances effortlessly, yet applying all conventional statutory caution. The middle-aged father and his adolescent son can build themselves TV antennas from swan water and Jeek bottles coupled with old fluorescent tubes to enjoy their favorite programs. The women were mistresses of all trade beside their men. They mastered and perfectly executed whatever, in retrospect without the adequate knowledge relatively as it was. Every child could construct one thing or another with any carton, spare part, and even grasses available. The skies were clear, the seasons were predictable. The crickets had natural vegetation to chirp at still nights without interference from industrial noise. The population of the Chicken Republic had independence to move about and return at nature's established time. They were compound companions. It was a non-colonial era, the cocks crowed without fear. The bars and parlors had due respect for customers' total well-being and mental sanity. They played serenading highlife tunes from their Kenwood and Panasonic speakers to soothe their pulsing nerves. Laughter was realist at these places and men were happy discussing topics as men with no ulterior fronting of competition. The poles were really represented, Lagos had the west, Kano had the north, Onitsha had the east and Warai had the south. Yuletide seasons were sincerely celebrated, and they always brought their best. The world looked different, life was fun, the sun was young, Michael Jackson was entertainment and Coca-Cola was refreshment. Ambitions were zoned with no clashes between the low class, middle class and the upper class, because amenities were distributed across the tiers equivocally. News and media were revered, and acted sacrosanct to their duties, maybe because the military martial tunes ushered in most of the broadcasts. There was order in the affairs of men, as criminals immediately felt pain from the firing squad. Sin was a taboo, it wasn't commonplace. Our ancestors were in love with the land and paid her all her rights the traditional way we know it, and the land was kind and generous to bless us with the pollinating winds of Harmattan at its right season. The true elders were amongst us. The holy places were organic enough with large compounds that boasted of rich vegetation and bio-life that displayed a microcosm of Elysia. The priests were affordably accessible. This was the 90s, in my eastern part of Nigeria's African extension of the world. Wrapped up in my napkins, sipping my glass of nan milk and biting to ruins a standard-sized piece of Oxford cabin biscuit. The value was high, the earth had no wrinkles, and the world very beautiful at every corner because of it. It's very difficult to explain to this generation how to fix the world they never saw the version we did. The earth is getting weary, and destroying some parts of us consciously to regulate pressure as its only way out. It's not Armageddon as it is preached, it's the natural course of life. The earth is on a journey to death. Our pogrom will be its rebirth. I envy the men before my time that saw a much younger, fair and beautiful world, and pity the men after my time that will see the aged, dark world. Will anyone survive this certainty, or is artificial intelligence our hidden savior? This is the hard truth conveyed upon philosophical lies. My name is Vabrik, I miss my world.